good evening, everyone. Welcome to this open session, the last open session for this year with our spiritual director, Zong Rinpoche, which is he's a little bit late. So apparently he had some issues with the network. So he's trying to find a better spot to have a good network. So yeah, I think we just need some more patience here. But then maybe some organizational points already. So today we have translation into German and I think also into Russian. So if you would like to hear the translation, please go down in the menu bar and click on this little like world symbol, and there you can choose your translation which you would like to hear. So, and I think Rinpoche joined us. If my eyes did not mistake me. They did not. Hello, Rinpoche.
Hello. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. I was just running into some net issues. So I just reset the router and hopefully it's okay.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rinpoche, for being with us today for this open session. So I already did like the greetings and organizational points. So I think we can just start right away. So today it's a question and answer session. So some of you have submitted questions. Thank you for this. And Rinpoche picked questions, and I think we can start with the first one. Okay, so the first one, could Rinpoche please say a few words about the 4 ways of how to attract disciples?
Oh, there's the view. Yeah, gallery. I'm just going around the room. It's wonderful to see you. Good evening, good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful to see you all. These days, we are participating in one teaching from Pauden Rinpoche from Drepung Monastery, and Rinpoche is currently giving oral transmission of the collected dharanis, of the Kangyur, from the Kangyur, the translated sutras. And today, before beginning the actual transmission, then Rinpoche shared a few words around Bodhisattva practice, and Rinpoche was telling this story of, as you know, the great this master, great practitioner of the Lojong tradition of the mind training, Ngilchu Tome Sambo. At one time, he was in his hermitage, and then some robbers, they saw this hermitage from afar, and then they sent one scout to see and to scan, and then after after the scout met and met uh, Home Sambo, then he went back to the rest of the group, and then he said, "We cannot rob this person. Uh, why? Because he considers us others more important than himself." So then they all then uh, decided not to bring any harm to him. So and then yeah, during that time, then Rinpoche, I think, yeah, shed a few tears, and yeah, so this is really, I think, a wonderful teaching, uh, and as you know, then these four ways of gathering sentient beings, Dubyo for means of gathering sentient beings. This is, of course, uh, in the context of practicing the paramitas, the six perfections, the six uh, on beyonds, and uh, first beginning the first with being generous, with practicing generosity, and then the three types of generosity: generosity with the Dharma, generosity of Dharma, generosity of material possessions, and then being generous uh, uh, in, uh, in giving protection or safety, uh, uh, freeing others from danger. So these three types of generosities. So this is the first, and then the second is Nyambarmawa, something like pleasant speech, uh, pleasant speech, and this is of course referring to the speech on the paramitas, talking about paramitas, engaging verbally in uh, explaining the paramitas. So this is the second, and then the third is guiding others in uh, in the actual practice of the paramitas. And then fourth is then oneself being uh, concordant to to the instructions given, shared to others. So these four uh, uh, means of gathering or benefiting others, sentient beings. So this is in the context of the of the six paramitas, and then uh, something, I think, the four means of gathering uh, prof, of gathering sentient beings also need not be just constricted with just this context, but something in a more open context. Let's say, for example, uh, in the in the case, you know, in a more everyday scenario, and as we engage with our companions, with our associates, with loved ones, with family members, uh, with fellow sentient beings, as we go about in our daily lives, in our interactions, then we can, of course, I think, also apply the four ways of gathering sentient beings. Uh, Firstly, uh, being generous. And of course, here, uh, I think as soon as we come into contact with a person, as soon as we come into contact with a sentient being, what happens first is of course that we make the time, we we dedicate time to the other person. to the other being, to the other sentient being. So being generous with time. This is, I think, the first. This is the first. This is the first in any kind of interaction, meaningful interaction, specifically meaningful interaction. First is, of course, being generous with time, right? Making ourselves available, extending our hearts. So this is the first, being generous, sharing that, yeah. And then the second is, of course, pleasant speech. Pleasant speech here is it's really kind speech, right? Engaging verbally uh, with a with a good with a good intent, you know, with a good intent, uh, uh, engaging with an open heart, engaging with an open heart, and then this, of course, I think here this is something just like very general, not going into the details, but simply engaging with an open heart verbally, this verbal uh, interaction with an open heart, with an open heart, not only with a when open here, open heart means just without any kind of expectations, right? Without any kind of expectations, without any kind of something like uh, expectations for the future or some kind of holding on to the past events, but just naturally engaging with 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 space, without any kind of past history or future expectations. So this is, I think, kind speech. I think kind speech constitutes, I think, those aspects, those attributes, and then with this, then of course, as we interact, then we can always share our experiences in order to at least contribute something in making this interaction meaningful, in bringing richness to our connections, to our interactions, to our relations. So then this sharing is in a way something like giving guidance, you know, guiding others towards being good or continue doing good things in times uh, where there might be some pressure or where the other party, where the other person maybe uh, is in a state of dilemma or some stressful situations, etc. So then giving really sharing from your experiences, right? Sharing something like solutions, etc. So this is something like giving guidance, which is the third. And then the fourth is, of course, this guidance, it shouldn't be something, ideally, it shouldn't be something out of hypocrisy. So it should be authentic, right? So this authentic guidance is then, is if it is something that's coming from your heart, if it is something that you also apply when you are in similar situations, then the fourth uh, the fourth means of gathering sentient beings uh, is it is there, right? So then bringing, yeah. So the fourth is really about being authentic, being authentic. So something like this, I think the four ways of gathering sentient beings, right? Of really engaging with sentient beings. I think in a meaningful exchange, in a meaningful engagement. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Rinpoche. So the next question, please. Yes. Dear Song Rinpoche, could you please share your opinion on my case? I'm a Buddhist servant for army my whole life. Due to the current situation in my country and due to the pledge given to my motherland, I have no way to quit the service now and have to take part in the war. Please give me advice how I can align my current duties with the Buddhist way of life.
Okay. Yes. So this uh, hopefully uh, I I of course pray that uh, something like I really hope that none of us uh, here and also outside of this that ideally no one has to or no one comes to the point of engaging in direct conflict, military conflict. So going back to the question, then uh, of course I think uh, I don't think the Buddha had, at least to my knowledge, had ever said that someone who is on the Buddhist path, who uh, aspires to be a Buddhist, uh, cannot cannot serve in the army. I don't think the Buddha had ever said that, right? So being in the army is again quite different from the actual engaging in in the conflict. So this is with that. Then I think something like uh, serving. Uh, uh, in the army and then uh, honoring this service. Uh, and then I think that also in the army there are also many works jobs that are actually roles that are non-combat roles, right? So hopefully uh, uh, you are not engaged in any that you're not engaging in any uh, combat roles, hopefully, right? So and I think it's highly likely that you're you're engaging in a non-combat role. So with non-combat roles, uh, then then I first uh, uh, the questions were sent in a few days earlier. So when I first saw your question, then the first thing that came into mind is then uh, if I am in in this situation, right? Then uh, how would I feel? How would I feel? So uh, if I had been serving in the army my whole life, and now uh, uh, that if there is such this situation as you have described that happens, uh, then I think uh, uh, what I would of course take the time to think about the Buddha's teaching which is of course the heart of his teaching is compassion practice, therefore non-violence. So then, if I'm not uh, put in any situations, if my position, if my role uh, in the army does not put me in a combat role, then I think uh, uh, it is okay. I think that is fine because when we engage and serve the army, we can do it with a sense of something like serving the country and and uh, something like to protect the country, right? Protect uh, the sentient beings. So this, in this kind of, if this was with this motivation, it is okay as long as I'm not engaging in the actual act of harming others, in engaging in harmful actions, then that is fine. Then uh, uh, still practicing your normal practices, uh, um, the teachings of the Buddha, as long as it doesn't come into any direct conflict with the current role you're playing, that's fine. As long as uh, uh, the roles that you have to commit yourself to, as long as that doesn't require you to directly harm others, as long as that doesn't require you to harm others, then that's fine. I think there is really no reason uh, to to uh, feel something like uneasiness. I don't think so. I don't think so. This is just my opinion. This is just my opinion. So I think on this matter, uh, this is something. Yeah, this is as best as I can try to address this. Address this. Anything that goes over this, right? So if I use this, uh, uh, if I go with this interconnectedness and cause and effect, uh, and the direct cause and the indirect cause, then we have, then I will run into all these kind of different situations where uh, I may not uh, I may not be directly harming one sentient being, but what I do would cause something else, and that in turn might cause something else. And after a few, something like this kind of reactions, then there might be some kind of harm at the end, right? So on this thing, then I have to really think about it in a realistic way, whether I can uh, come out of this stage or not, right? So then this kind of really going into the depths of causation and also conditions and where to draw those lines. For me, this is quite it's really uh, something quite complicated, something complex, and therefore then the first thing I want to make sure whether my uh, what I'm doing is adhering to uh, the Buddhist uh, code of conduct is then to see whether first to check on my motivation. That is the first thing, to check on my motivation, you know. And then secondly, then to check on my action, whether this is bringing direct harm or not. So I think like this. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so then please question number 3. Rinpoche, could you please speak to the balance of silence, pure presence, and expression during practice? How can we maintain an open and gentle heart while being active?
Mm. So this balance of silence, pure presence, and expression during practice. When I look at these three, uh, this can be applied on in different situation, different contexts. So just to go with something quite general and also applicable for someone like myself, then putting these three in the context of, let us say, I think the 3 trainings, right? The 3 trainings, uh, ethical conduct, meditation, and insight. So the pure presence here, pure, I'm only using this word pure presence simply on the level of pure heart, not harming, no harmful intent. Compassion practice, non-violence, ahimsa. And then, so this is ethical conduct, ahimsa practice. Silence, this is the second meditation, the shamatha practice, related to shamatha practice, then which is turning away from distractions to turn away from the noise of distractions, so silence. And then expression. Expression here is to express wisdom, to express something like the unseen, to make that manifest, to the mind. Something like the hidden qualities, which are hidden unless we rely on wisdom. So on these 3, then maybe I think this is one way of then bringing silence, pure presence, and expression. And then I think like this. And then to maintain an open and gentle heart while being active, while being actively engaged. Maybe this may be connected with some of the other questions. But to address this by itself, then I think our open and gentle heart to, uh, to think about something like how similar we all are, to reflect on that, to reflect on how similar we all are. In essence, we cannot, there is no separation. In essence, there is no separation between oneself and others. So reflecting on this, then as we continue our daily activities, then to do something like turn away from the differences, to not focus on the differences, to not focus on that, rather to reflect on how we have so much in common, how we have so much in common. To reflect on that, I think this might help with maintaining this open heart when we are actively engaged in the world that we all live in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rinpoche. So then this is question number 4. When I take a look at my mind, it seems wandering in 3 times, planning and worrying, and often there's a strong notion of I, me, and mine, and how to come out of these habitual patterns. And I think there's a small mistake. So the previous question was from, and this question is from a different person. So yeah, just a small note on the side.
How to come out of this habitual pattern of wandering into the 3 times. Of course, in a way, I think wandering into the 3 times is really a wonderful thing. I can't imagine how the world will exist, operate without us wandering into the 3 times. If we don't think about the future, if we don't learn from our past, then I wonder how the world will be. On the other hand, too much of this wandering and not concentrating on the matter at hand, then this can really hold back one's it can really hold one back. This is so clear. This is quite obvious. So then, how to come out of this? I think the best thing that we have is to try, is to always make this effort, and not giving up making these efforts, and one method of not giving up on efforts is of course reflecting on what we call something like uh, the fortunate existence that we all have, how we have this great opportunity, how we have this great opportunity to uh, really be in the present and then to make uh, something like to something like uh, write our own, what is the word, I forgot that expression, but it's something like to write our own history, or we can do so much in the with this wonderful human rebirth, with this wonderful human mind, with this great mind we all share, that we all share, uh, that is common to, that is commonly shared. We can do so much with that. We can do so much with that. And of course, the three times are so important. And also then also to remember that these three times are not absolute, right? That they're not absolute. That they're always uh, something like wandering and just like flowing, like 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 a river, uh, or like waves. So when we think of the three times, then uh, this is, I think, quite. Uh, it's interesting for me. Uh, we can only, uh, in a way, we're not. I cannot like imagine the three times. I mean, in a way, I cannot exist in the three times, right? I can, or or am I, right? So there's since it's not absolute, then perhaps I don't even have to worry about this. Perhaps I don't even have to worry about how to come out of this so-called habitual pattern, right? And just, yeah, just do what is necessary. Just do what is helpful, and and uh, something like to do is to do is sometimes letting go is maybe the best doing. Letting go is the best thing. uh, it is also doing something, right? Letting go. So then to let go, and something like uh, in a way, uh, let's see, I was listening to some video about uh, there was a term, I think it was maybe over vigilance. That was the behavioral pattern. And then one way to overcome that is to uh, have safety, right? Have safety. And I know this may not seem very connected with the question. Uh, Still, I think this safety uh, to ground myself, to ground myself, ground myself, and just to ground myself uh, to the action, the main action, the main activity, where the action of my focus, the present action, to ground myself in that, in a way that is safety, that is in a way that that is my place of refuge. That is where I feel grounded, where I am on safe ground, on good ground, and just be there, just be there, and just be there, and being in awareness, being in awareness, and feeling, being aware of these emotions and these feelings, and just letting mind rest, just letting the mind rest. Maybe this is one way of coming out of these habitual, so-called habitual patterns. That was just maybe a feeble attempt at addressing the question. But thank you. Shall we continue?
Yes, the next question, please. I want to ask if Rinpoche can give me some clarification on a theme which is difficult for my practice. I try to practice compassion and I try to practice generating bodhicitta. It feels like that my intention and motivation is not really as pure as I want it to be, while setting the correct motivation is so very important. Can Rinpoche give some advice on how to check whether that motivation comes from a place of subtle self-cherishing attitude or that it comes from a real, authentic, altruistic mind? And this question is from.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, this question, this is a difficult one. Yeah, I think this subtle self-cherishing attitude, self-cherishing and other cherishing, altruistic intention. Very interesting in how we use these labels. Hmm. Sometimes, again, there's this aspect of this very uh, immovable self and the immovable other. When we are, I think, when we can overcome this immovable self, I think then the altruistic mind is 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 in the vicinity. It's really just there. It's only that we are not able to go past this immovable self. So then, uh, yeah, I think with practice, hopefully with practice, then uh, I can uh, I can overcome. I can overcome. Uh, I can then jump over. Right? I can jump over this immovable self, this hurdle, this blockage, and it is not something uh, easily done. Yes, it is very much part of my view. It is not something that is separate from my view, from my view, from my concepts, from my upbringing, from my habituations, and uh, in a way, I have everything uh, going for it. Like everything up till this point has been uh, something like making this immovable self, I, me, uh, quite strong. Really, like solidifying that, and I'm also continuously doing that. So then, how to break away from this uh, from this solidifying from this uh, is 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 to simply uh, divorce from this strong selfish views, from the selfish views, from this selfish point of views, from this from always looking from the viewpoint of myself, right? But uh, to also look at the viewpoint from the others, and then also reflecting on how others are also feeling, how they are seeing things from their viewpoint. The more I reflect on that, it then I feel like I'm now being I am not feeling so strong that my sense of my views doesn't feel so strong anymore. So this is, uh, I think, this is like this. Yeah, this is the idea, right? So then to uh, train myself, to train the mind, being considerate of others, and uh, to really think of what they're feeling, and putting myself uh, in their uh, situation, wherever they are, whatever they're feeling. And the more I do that, and I have to do it in, of course, in a first, it should be done in uh, in moderation, right? I It's important that I do not uh, whatever pathway that I take, it shouldn't be extreme. It shouldn't be to the point where I cannot handle it, where it's exhausting, where I feel like I feel like it's depleting my energy. So then we have to, I have to really balance that. And I have to always uh, go back to how I feel. And then uh, yeah, having this awareness, and where there is, of course, this duality of I and others. And sometimes then it is really good, I think, when we think of shunyata, that then there is no more this duality. There is no more this reference point. There isn't this fixed reference point anymore. You're just in space. You're just in shunyata. So, something like uh, reenacting that, trying to uh, imagine that, I think may help. It may help, right? So then I think using a combination of different methods uh, that are that you will find in the Lamrim, uh, in the Lamrim, in 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 the sutras in the commentaries, of course, there is no shortage of methods that are available, that are available. So then I think resorting to those, relying on those, I think, yeah, through that. But this is a really difficult point, that this subtle self-cherishing, right? This subtle self-cherishing. So, but the fact that if, uh, I think as long as we are going from one extreme end of the spectrum, and as as we find ourselves, as long as we find ourselves moving towards the other direction, then I think it's good. I think that's a good sign, right? It's as long as we are making small steps, then I think that's good. You know, uh, subtle self-cherishing, no matter what, there's always some self-cherishing. I know, uh, I know that for a fact. I know that for me, uh, I will uh, have this. I will have this till the end of my life, right? So then, what I can do is then try to not get stuck in this selfish viewpoint, right? In this selfish me. So do not become stuck in that. Just to simply just move on from that, move away from that. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Okay, then the next question, please. Is there a mantra for Buddha Vajradhara? I like to say mantras before lying my head on his lap bedtime, as a sort of solidifying thank you. But no one I know seems to know. Or do I just use my guru's mantra since they are in reality one?
Uh, is there a mantra for Buddha Vajradhara? This, I'm not sure. I've never come across any uh, Vajradhara, uh, a stand-alone Vajradhara uh, mantra. Usually, uh, you're right. I think you have given the answer. It's usually within the context of the Guru mantra that the Guru Vajradhara, something like that is included. But a standalone uh, Vajradhara mantra, I'm not aware of this. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the next question, please. What does sitting on the throne mean to you literally and in secret? I deeply respect the culture of Buddhism and understand some little teachings about the function of looking up, and at the same time, I feel sometimes resistance from the Western point of view.
Sitting on a throne, uh, as I understand it, it is, of course, uh, to uh, usually within in the context of uh, teaching the Dharma. It is usually in the context of teaching the Dharma. So uh, when we have the thrones, then it is really uh, giving respect uh, to the Dharma. I think this is the main thing. Of course, we Tibetans, we have this somehow this tradition of using quite uh, elaborate ornate thrones. We have this custom. Uh, at the same time, we also have in the Vinaya, if I'm not mistaken, that that there are something like faults of sitting on a throne that is too high, or sitting on a bed that is too high, right? So we also have those, but uh, but this is of course the Vinaya, and uh, it seems like we Tibetans, when we uh, in practice, then many times uh, we we are not 100% in accordance with the Vinaya. Maybe this is also some uh, custom thing. I wouldn't necessarily attribute it to Vajrayana, but I think it has to do more with our customs, uh, because uh, one interesting thing I think is that when I look at Tibetan Buddhism, then Tibetan Buddhism uh, was very much like was very much encouraged by the kings, right? By the kings. So it was something like it became something like a state religion of sorts. And then with that, then I think when there's this connection with royalty, then automatically then there's, I think, the throne is somehow connected. Uh, all this ornament, uh, etc., then gets involved. So uh, I really appreciate when we have the images of the Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni. You know, just when the Buddha, uh, when the Buddha uh, attained enlightenment and gave his first sharing of the Dharma, uh, when the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, uh, with mainly uh, from the humans, at least just the five early disciples, uh, uh, and then yeah, we don't have such ornate thrones. There is nothing that is very extravagant, and it's of course the Buddha was on a raised plate, platform, and then that of course that way uh, it's practical, because then people get a better view, and if there are many people when you're on a raised platform, then of course there's also practical aspects of people getting better view of the teacher, as well as I think maybe also better uh, audio is better. Uh, so there are those aspects. So it is a good thing to have a raised platform. So if throne is simply understood to be a raised platform, that's fine. But then going uh, something like um, I, I don't I don't know if we sometimes I feel uh, that we pay so much attention in the throne that it seems like uh, it is like we give more attention to the throne than to the person sitting on the throne. All right. So then I think, yeah, we have to. I think there are so many uh, aspects involved. There's uh, this uh, the custom aspect, uh, and then something like the president. The president. It is all about the presidents, right? And if one were to say, if I, let's say, this is a huge hypothetical. If I invited a High Lama, and then I'm organizing it, and instead of having the usual thrones, if it is just a small raised platform without the other, uh, not using the conventional throne, then of course I think people might be shocked, right? Like people might be shocked, and people might see that as being very disrespectful. So again, it depends on the context, on the place. Uh, so context here, I think, really plays an important part. So so I have a, a few thoughts uh, on on sitting on a throne. Yeah, I think before Tairumji had mentioned that with the throne and all the things that come with that. So this is something that I think moving forward, uh, moving forward, uh, it might be it might be good if we don't uh, sort of put too much attention on these things, but rather see it as whatever, right? Even if it is uh, a, a simple raised platform, then it is a throne. And if some people within that context, in that tradition, they like to use these objects, those objects, then also my view is something like, okay, then that's fine, you know. When I'm at the teaching, my mind is not on the throne. My mind is not looking at all the decals. Of course, they all have a meaning. They all symbolize something. That there are images of real something like uh, uh, there are really images representing the qualities of the Dharma, the qualities of the Buddha, qualities of the Sangha. So, so if I, that's also one way of looking at thrones, right? So it depends. It depends on, I think, the context and also the point from where one is looking at, you know, from where one is looking at. And in what I can say for sure, or what I can have a strong opinion about, is this, which is that a throne, no matter how high or how low the throne is, it is not to be used for worldly purpose. A big grand throne is not to show, oh, the person sitting on this throne is such a powerful high lama or something like that. Neither should a low throne should be used to give the message. The person sitting on this is a real lama because he is not sitting on a grand ornate throne. Therefore, he is a real subdued person. A throne is not meant to use to give those kind of messages, right? So then here, then to understand the meaning of throne and then uh, to simply focus at the important at the main point. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we have one last question. We will do this one. So a question regarding the practice of loving kindness. If someone is trying to cultivate loving kindness but finds themselves often clouded by judgment and the three poisons, greed, hatred, and delusion, how can they generally lead or guide others? To the concern that their influence might unintentionally be misleading. How should one navigate this situation?
one text, when it came to the point of being generous with the Dharma. So the practice of generosity of Dharma. The intention with benefiting others. The intention is benefiting others. And then sharing the Dharma, and the text mentioned sharing the Dharma without faults. Without faults. So something like not misinforming things regarding Dharma, right? So then the person doing this, then first it is important, it is essential to learn the Dharma, to learn the Dharma, to learn the Dharma. So the three, hearing the Dharma and then studying, contemplating, and meditating on Dharma. This is so encouraged by our teachers all the time, all our teachers in unison. They always encourage us to study the Dharma, right? To not have something like misconceptions on Dharma. If by studying the Dharma, using good sources, using the sources, so the sutras, and then the commentary by the great Indian masters, and then the great teachers of the different traditions, the respective traditions, according to the tradition which makes something like which you feel connected to, So then using these sources, reliable sources, then to learn and then to put into practice what you learn, put into practice what I learned, put into practice what we learn. So it's something like having the technical know-hows when we reflect on the different points of Dharma, and then together with that, then of course, to learn that using the most, utilizing the most valuable thing we have, which is our compassion. So learning the Dharma with compassion, right? Always together with compassion. This is what we have. That is something not tainted. Is our compassion. Compassion is not tainted, right? And we all have compassion. So bringing that into the Dharma, if we go too much into the direction of only studying it like it's an object of knowledge, and if we don't if we don't bring compassion into our practice, then we are missing our knowledge is not complete. It can never become complete without compassion. There is no possibility. There is no base. There is no base. Without compassion, there is no base for Dharma practice. So then, by learning in this way, then we can we have the tools in sharing. We have all the tools to share with others. We can offer them our something like our service, our guidance, our help, our support. And by practicing, then is very much about dealing with the three mind poisons. It's very much about dealing with the three mind poisons and turning away from the three mind poisons, decreasing the three mind poisons. So then, in practice, practice, then as much as we can to 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 offer, to offer our help and to offer ourselves in serving sentient beings. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. That was a really nice session. And also thank you so much for all your questions. So this was now the last session for this year. We will continue this series starting in February. And of course, then we will welcome back Zong Rinpoche, but also other teachers. So if you want to receive the latest information, please subscribe to our newsletter. I just sent a link in the chat. And I think this is also a good time and audience to announce that Rinpoche will be visiting Germany around Easter time next year. So Rinpoche will be leading the Easter course at Tibethaus.Berghof with the second year of Yamantaka. And in April, he will also do a weekend at Tibethaus on the topic of death and dying from Buddhist point of view. So if you're interested, please visit our website and the website of Tibethaus.Berghof. Just this week, we have released our program for the next half year. So maybe you'll find some other interesting programs. And then, of course, last but not least, some free Christmas present. Marco, please the slide. Because Thaypa Rinpoche will be conducting an online talk on December 6th at Jewel Heart. And so we are very happy that he's doing this. And please, for all the information, scan the QR code or visit the Jewel Heart website. We will also publish some information on our website and also, of course, keep you informed through our newsletter. So thank you very much for your time this afternoon. And then I just hand it back to Rinpoche for some conducting works.
Thank you, Pia. Thank you. And please dedicate all our whatever good virtuous action, positive actions we may have gathered. Please dedicate this to all sentient beings and to the Dharma, and then to all the great teachers, to His Holiness Gyawar Rinpoche, and then to Jamul Rinpoche, and to all the teachers wherever they are benefiting so many of us. So please dedicate them, dedicate to their long lives, and may they continue to touch and guide countless sentient beings. Thank you so much for your time, for your practice, for your dedication, and uh, yeah, uh, yeah. Just in case we don't see before then, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, uh, Happy Holidays. Thank you. Thank you.